What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today we got day 6 recap of the 2022 Chicago Bears training camp. At day 6, we finally had the first padded practice of the year, and it was also open to the public, so more information today than yesterday, as it was closed yesterday. So it will be fun talking about today, even though we had a lot of ups and downs for the offense today. In general, the agenda was kind of similar as the last couple of days. Some indie drills, then some one-on-ones, some team, some punt returns, some 7-on-7, and finish it off with another team period. So with that being said, let's get right into it and actually talk about the offensive performance today. And the offense today had a pretty rough day overall. What started out positive with good one-on-ones and absolute goal line domination was by the end overshadowed by bad 7-on-7 and disappointing team 2-minute drill. We had some botched snaps in there, false starts, simple mental errors just there that you definitely don't want to see in your new offense. And also, what I mentioned for the offense in general, quarterbacks and wide receivers worked on jet motions today. So with Velus Jones Jr., Darnell Mooney, Byron Pringle, you got fast playmakers. So involving them kind of in some trick plays or just like jet motions is basically just a run for a receiver. So you have these shifty fast weapons. So I like seeing that. But overall, it was a rough day. Like I said, they started off pretty good, but ended pretty harshly. As for Justin Fields today, he had several good balls in one-on-ones. That was kind of nice, getting into rhythm and displaying good arm strength and placement. And in team period, he started off pretty good as well. I mean, he had a nice completion over the middle to Byron Pringle, connecting with him for a nice gain. Also in goal line situation, he connected with Mooney for a touchdown. But overall today, there were also a couple of misses. He had a wide open N'Keal Harry in the end zone with a busted coverage, but he overthrew him. But actually bounced back pretty good with a touchdown to the same player, N'Keal Harry, again some plays later. So bouncing back and just writing that play off in your mind. But after that, he went on with a series of incompletions. He had Kari Blasingame, the fullback, over the middle wide open and went away from that, went to another read, and the pass went incomplete. He also missed Monty and went with Mooney instead as his option. That ball went incomplete as well. And at the end, he also had a deep shot to Darnell Mooney that went too far, so he overthrew him kind of and almost got picked by Eddie Jackson. So it was kind of a bad day for Justin Fields at the end. Like I said, he had some nice completions here and there and displayed good ball placement, but it was kind of a rough day for him. As for the entire offense, had some incompletions, some things that he definitely has to get fixed. But I know his mental state of mind. I know how he can bounce back from these things. So I'm even more excited about tomorrow's practice where he can show how he can bounce back from these bad practices. So I can't wait and see what he can bring to the table tomorrow. As for the running backs today, we finally got some news on them. With the pads finally being on, you obviously will get hit more, and obviously the running backs also can show what they're all about. David Montgomery was kind of good today. He looked good. Several gains for good yardage. Also, Treston Ebner was mentioned today. He had a 20-plus yards run. And, I mean, that's what he's here for. He's here for the big plays. He's kind of that Tyreek Cohen replacement. Not as shifty as Cohen, but more of a bulky, fast running back that can definitely break some tackles. So I love seeing him being mentioned there today. 20-plus yard run is obviously something positive. And also, Khalil Herbert displays shiftiness to find the end zone for a touchdown today as well. In general, we had 2 touchdowns with the running backs on the ground and goal line team drills. So that's nice overall, seeing them just connecting with the offensive line. They're blocking pretty good in the goal line situations and the running backs just finishing. The wide receivers, Mooney had a touchdown during goal line drill on the team period. That was nice. Just the Mooney Fields connection is trending upwards every single practice, no matter what happens. Velus Jones Jr. had a quiet day overall catching the football, but displayed another part of his game that is kind of dangerous, and that is his blocking. He pancaked rookie Elijah Hicks on the 20-plus yard Ebner run, so love seeing that. That's something we need. We also have Byron Pringle and N'Keal Harry, who were one of the highest graded run blockers in the entire NFL last season. So you have 3 to 4. I mean, Mooney's not a bad blocker at all as well. So you got 3 to 4 pretty good blockers as wide receivers. That's obviously beneficial for your offense with that many pretty good running backs. I mean, we had that 3 running back punch with Monty, Herbert, and Ebner. So why not utilizing that and improving them with good wide receiver blocking? Equanimous St. Brown won a jump ball in 101s over Jalen Johnson today. So once again, displaying his ability to utilizing his body to his advantages, boxing out players and just going up and getting the ball. That's great to see. And the other big body receiver that we have, N'Keal Harry, had a quite good day as well, with a touchdown beating Kyler Gordon in 101s, going up and getting it. So as well, going up for the contested catch and just making it, which is one of his biggest strengths. And also with a touchdown in the 2-minute drill, as I mentioned with Justin Fields already. And the last wide receiver I want to talk about quickly is Daz Newsome. He was mentioned today again with a sliding catch in the end zone. So I just love seeing Daz Newsome perform on a higher level than last season. He's getting mentioned over the last couple of days a lot more. And I would love it for him to carve out a role on the Bears roster. He's such a talented player and just a cool guy. I like seeing him kind of having success over the last couple of days. So moving on to the tight ends, and kind of one of the players that had one of the best days today was Ryan Griffin. The veteran tight end caught a ball over Brisker in the red zone in 1-on-1s. So I don't know. Ryan Griffin seems to be kind of the guy, and I mean, Cole Kmet is not that kind of guy. He only has 2 touchdowns over 2 seasons. Ryan Griffin kind of can be that Jimmy Graham type of guy, that replacement, the guy that you can throw to in the red zone, that will come up with a catch and just box out some linebackers or nickel corners. Obviously, Jimmy Graham is a specialist at that and was just phenomenal, so that was kind of a big loss, but hopefully Ryan Griffin can be somewhat similar to that. I don't expect him being the same type of player in the red zone, but hopefully he can be a threat there nonetheless. He also caught a 12-yard touchdown in team period, who was wide open, and it was a great misdirection design by Luke Getsy. So nice seeing just the offense getting at least some things correct today. As for Cole Kmet, the Cole Kmet and Eddie Jackson competition still goes on. Kmet got him with a, quote, tough snack over the middle on a slant for a touchdown. Eddie Jackson was in good coverage though, so I mean, he did not have the best separation, but at least he made the catch, and these two guys are just battling all over again for the whole training camp so far. So that's kind of cool seeing one of the bigger playmakers on each side of the ball just competing. As for the offensive line today, it was a pretty interesting day because we had a lot of new constellations. At left tackle today was Braxton Jones again as the starter, Cody Whitehair at left guard, Sam Mustipher at center with the first team, Michael Schofield at right guard with the first team, and Riley Reef actually split snaps with Larry Borom at the right tackle spot with the starters today. So Riley Reef now going over to the other side of the tackles. I think they're still looking for that perfect constellation of players there at the offensive line, so they will just try putting Reef at different spots, right, left tackle. So that was nice seeing. Also to note, Braxton Jones took every single snap at left tackle except 2 the whole practice. So I love seeing that. I love him coming out of college and his game tape. So I can't wait and see what he does in the NFL. He is highly talented. He has all the athletic tools in the world to succeed in the NFL. So he will definitely be a good part of the Bears franchise if he's a starter or not, or at least a swing tackle. I think he has a pretty bright future with the Bears. Also, some strong blocking from the offensive line today in the goal line drill, opening gaps well for the running backs. But also on the negative side, they allowed some pressures in the 2-minute drill where the Bears offense in general struggled a lot. So that wraps it up for the offense. Not a great day overall, but bad days also bring their positives. Lots to learn from the offense today. So let's see how they respond tomorrow and how they just can come back. They will analyze every single thing. And I mean, with mistakes, you see where you still have to improve on. Also, Trevor Siemian mentioned that they got a lot of new cadences to work with. So it's all a matter of time. And I think as the time will go on, the Bears offense will get better as well. So now moving on to today's defensive performance. And starting off the defense, I first of all want to talk about the defensive line today. As yesterday, they again put up a lot of pressure on Justin Fields. Mario Edwards Jr. was named for the first time this training camp, and he made a big play on Demontre Tuggle in the backfield and hit him hard by reports. Also, Justin Jones once again showing out. He had a nice stop on Khalil Herbert in the backfield for a tackle for loss, and also a couple of pressures in there over the day as well. Al-Qadim Muhammad is at that point just stacking great practices. I mean, he's getting after Fields every single day and just had a big sack on third down. So that's nice seeing a player coming up clutch and getting the sack on a quarterback. I love seeing that, and I can't wait seeing him play for the Chicago Bears in a real game. Also, Dominic Robinson again with a sack. He beat the tackle with speed off the edge. That's probably his biggest trait at the moment, just straight pure athleticism and speed. And I love seeing him succeeding early on as well. What a great prospect that we have there. I mean, both fifth-round rookies, Dominic Robinson and Braxton Jones, were absolutely looking nice at the moment. So love that. The linebackers today, I only have something about Matt Adams. He had a pass breakup on Cole Kmet today. So he's kind of playing pretty good, and he also had a hard hit on a running back. I don't recall the running back at the moment, but I mean, still, he's making plays and kind of carving out a nice role in the defense as well. So I like seeing that, especially because he's on such a cheap deal. The defensive backs today were pretty active as well. Eddie Jackson with good coverage all day long, and after Kmet caught that ball on him, he later made up and knocked out the ball of Cole's hands, and he almost had a pick today with that deep shot to Mooney as well. And I mean, he's just in general around the ball all the time. That's what we want out of Eddie Jackson. We want that playmaker back, and just seeing these reports about him being around the ball all the time just gives me a lot of hope, and I can't wait and see how he does in 2022. Jaquan Brisker continues to stand out as well, had a nice pass breakup on Cole Kmet, and it's just like Eddie Jackson, always around the ball. Kyler Gordon played mostly outside today, so he was not put at nickel that much today, and Kindle Vildor actually went into the slot, who is putting together a pretty good camp at the moment. Wilder had a pass breakup on Kevin Shaw in one-on-ones, and also in team he had a nice pass breakup on Equanimus St. Brown as well. So he's stacking up some couple of nice days lately, so that's kind of surprising, but I will take it. I don't have a problem with that. As for Dane Cruikshank, he's finally off of the NFI list and practiced for the first time this year. It was mostly with the second stringers next to DeAndre Houston Carson. So seeing him on the field is actually cool. And I mean, I can't wait to see how he actually will erase the tight ends, with him being called the tight end eraser. And yeah, that actually already wraps it up for the defense today. Kind of a dominant performance, especially in that 2-minute drill. On goal line, the offense dominated them, but for the rest of the practice, they kind of showed the offense who the actual boss at the moment is. And with that being said, let's move on to the special teams. I did not report anything about special teams yesterday, but today there was way more action reported about them. Punt returns were taken by Velus Jones Jr., no surprise there, Daz Newsome, Chris Fink, Dante Pettis, and Eddie Jackson again, so him being in the mix once again. But I mean, the most important ones for me at the moment are Velus Jones Jr. He took every single punt return when the first team was actually on the field, so he's definitely the front runner for that at the moment. But Daz Newsome is mentioned as the second guy a lot lately, and with him kind of showing out on offense and especially on special teams as well, I think he definitely increases his chances of making the roster the last couple of days. As for the punter, Trenton Gill is constantly booming 50-yarders from the 20 to the opponent's 30. The balls are always to the sideline and have good hang time as well. So, I mean, I never was a huge fan of Pat O'Donnell. He was just always a solid punter, nothing too outstanding. But Trenton Gill at the moment seems like he's definitely an upgrade, actually. And I would absolutely love that. It's on a cheaper deal as well. So, I think Trenton Gill was kind of a steal of the 7th round. As for Cairo Santos, he just had some shorter kicks. I think the longest one I saw was a 38-yarder, but he nailed every single one of them. Nothing else was expected by him. I mean, he's just a Mr. Automatic at this point and just hitting almost every single kick he takes. So I think the special teams today had a pretty strong day. So that wraps up the day 6 recap of the 2022 Chicago Bears training camp. The offense definitely struggled today, but I will definitely keep you updated on how they will do tomorrow with tomorrow's training camp recap. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.